Question number 8 of the PhilNITS FE afternoon portion of the exam. We are now in blank C, and we have to remember that we are working on a Java program. In this case, we are now in the submit grade function, or in this case, because it's a Java program, it's a submit grade method. And inside this method, we do have the gradebook HashMap that we answered previously for blank A. And we had to put two objects, which are the student ID and the grade. And we are going to use the gradebook again to figure out the student who got the grade, and in this case put the grade for that student who took the course in this method, submit grade method. Okay, given that, will we be able to answer blank C? If you look at the answer group, we have here again these methods: put if absent, or replace. And I think when I was answering this question, I was also thinking about whether it was really the put method that was the correct answer, and I ended up choosing it. But it turns out, based on the answers key, replace is the best answer. And so we gotta figure out why it's the best answer. But first, we have to remember that the method names are here to help us understand quickly what they're supposed to do. And so put if absent was really not the method that was likely going to be the answer, I thought, because why would you put a grade uh, to a student who's absent, right? And so it was really either put or replace. But I was thinking that if you've already given a student the grade, why would you need to replace the student's grade? And in this method, it seems like because we're submitting the grade, then we won't need to replace the student's grade anymore, right? But it turns out that replace is the best answer, and so we need to figure out why it's that. And the way to do that is to look at the description. It says here that submit grade registers the grade of the student who takes the course taught by the member of the faculty and returns true. If the registration fails, it returns false or shows an exception. Okay, now if we look at the explanation for the methods, put says that the specified value with a specified key, we give the specified key the specified value, okay? And then if we're unsuccessful, there was no mapping for the key, then we return a null. That means the registration fails. Okay, and then we know that put if absent is not likely going to be the answer. And if we look at replace, it also has this part where you got, if there was no mapping for the key, then also we fail and we give as return value null. Okay, no mapping means that the key, the student ID, is not registered, it's not there. Okay, now in this case, replace says that the entry with the key, its value can be replaced. Okay, if it's already it already has a value, so it seems like put is still the best answer. And I think later on we'll figure out the next set of explanations that would maybe be the right explanation why replace is the best answer in this case. But the other thing that I'd like to emphasize is this part here, where you got not equals to null and here equals to null. Okay, actually I got this portion, I chose not equals to null, so it was really down to the method. And why is it not equals to null? If we look at the description again, especially the one with the green lines here, if the registration fails, it returns false. Okay? And remember, when would it fail? For example, for put, if there was no mapping for the key, we return a null. Okay? So that means the registration fails. It's the same with replace. Okay? Null if there was no mapping for the key. They both fail, and so that's why we'd get null. And if it fails, then it should return in the end false. Okay? So if we use the method put and it fails, then it's supposed to return null, and based on this condition, null equals, or null not equals null is false. Okay? Which is correct. Which is what we're going for as output. Right? Null is not equals to null is false because null is equal to null. And in the same way for replace, null, if we fail, null equals to null is false because null is equal to null. Okay? So that should explain that part. Now we're still down to put and replace. Why is it replace? I did look at the other portions of the code. For example, we have other submit grade methods, but we can see that the parameters have increased. And so we can use the same method name but change the parameters. Okay, so in this case, we're adding the course. And within this submit grade method, we are using another submit grade that actually, that was the first submit grade that we were looking at. Okay, the one with the blank C. And so in this case, we only have student and grade as its parameters, the inputs, but for this submit grade, it has the course also. And it's asking that if we get the course and it's equal to null, and it says here false, so that means that it's not equal to null, then we submit the grade of the student with this grade for that course. Okay? Now the other submit grade method has all these other parameters, but I think in this case I emphasized more and focus more on this part. Okay, so we can see that the submit grade is actually used, but I think we still need to investigate some more. For this program 4 here, we have the sequence of actions that we are doing. Like for example, we are adding a new course, new student, new faculty, and assign the courses to the faculty, and then we get the students taking the course. And I was thinking that maybe a student would be given a grade, and then it's also the same student, and maybe because the grade is already there, then you need to replace the existing grade. But then when I was looking at this also, you got a student 1, and he's taking two different courses. Student 2 taking two different courses. Okay, and then when we submit the grade, we get here student 2 again, but it's another course, C1 and C2. They're different courses. Okay, so it looks like that put or replace could either still be the answer based on how it's used in this line of lines of code. But I think that maybe it's really because the submit score can be reused, especially if you want to update the score that you've submitted, because um, it could also be this type of situation where you got the student who has gotten a score and you submitted it, but you want to update it, right? And so the student score is still there and you need to replace the student score. Okay, it could be that, and that's why the answer would be letter E. I guess if you're going only with put, it seems like you won't be able to change or replace the score once you've submitted it. But in this case, it looks like if you have replaced, then you can still replace it if you want to, even though you submitted it already. And it seems like it's gonna be more useful that way for this particular task. You can still replace what you put. Okay, all right.